good morning, and happy Taco Tuesday on this April 2nd, 2024. Welcome to Breakfast with Bridget. I'm your host, Bridget Ellison. Hope you're doing well this morning, and we have some great weather lined up for you this morning. Meteorologist Candace Campos is in the Pinpoint Accurate Weather Center. Welcome back.
Oh, thanks, Bridget. It was just nice. It was nice to kind of enjoy a little Easter weekend. Did you have
Yes,
Easter?
I did. Very busy. What about you?
Same. It was interesting. I was just telling Steve because he asked like, "Oh, what was the kid's favorite thing in their basket?" I
Mm-hmm.
said it was actually what they got in their Easter egg hunt,
What
where
was it?
we did little coupons. So they got like one free get out of a chore and one free pick your own dinner tonight kind of thing. So
Oh, man.
the girls like that. So maybe a good idea for any parents out there who are trying to come up with something creative and they want to try to, limit more of the candy and all the Easter egg hunts. But it was fun. It was really
Genius.
nice. Yeah.
I love
So
it. I
I can't
like
take the I can't take the credit for it. I saw it online and I ran with
Yes.
it.
I love that. I love that. We have fun with the Easter baskets and all that stuff. But, now that we're into April, there's a bit of a roller coaster that we have planned for the week, right?
Oh my gosh, Bridget, let's talk about first the heat. It's going to be a very toasty Tuesday, but then we're talking about a weather alert kind of Wednesday. So, as you can see here, temperatures are going to be nearing 90 degrees for today. Then, as we head into your Wednesday, Bridget, we're talking storms. But even before the storms get here, the winds are going to be picking up out of the southwest between 20 to 25. And then we start talking about a strong to severe weather threat increasing throughout the day. In the meantime, though, it's a mild start. We're in the mid 60s, even a few 70s around town. Then throughout the day, temperatures will be nearing 90 degrees up and down the I-4 corridor, for instance. So Orlando, Stanford could be nearing 90, which is still between 2 to 3 degrees below the record value. So I'll call it record territory. I don't think we're going to be smashing records today. Areas in and around Daytona Beach and along our coastline will also be in the 80s, but more of those mid 80s. As we take you here, clouds and rain forecast still showing just kind of a little sea breeze action this afternoon, but not a lot of rain, not a lot of moisture associated with it. So we're looking dry today. That's why it's going to be so hot. But as we approach, this is our next spring front. This system, by the way, is packing a punch across the country. That's going to start tracking into our northern zones by about the lunchtime hour on Wednesday. You can see pockets of some really heavy rain, that red color indicating some of those stronger cells. That line will continue to shift towards the I-4 corridor between a bit, let's say between 2 and 4 o'clock. So that's 3 o'clock there. And then that threat shifts further south across our southern zones into Osceola County, into Brevard between about 5, 6 o'clock. Then we'll actually have the real front move in. The atmosphere will be a little worked over, so we're not expecting any rocket and thunderstorms late in the day on Wednesday. Just scattered showers, finally exiting central Florida by about 2, 3 o'clock in the morning on Thursday. And then look how quickly those skies clear, and it will turn into a beautiful, cooler Thursday and Friday. So let's look here at the severe weather risk for your Wednesday. Level 2 out of 5, which basically means a slight risk for the possibility of seeing a one or two strong to severe storms. The main threats there highlighted in red will be lightning, frequent at times, pea to nickel sized hail, to dime sized hail could be possible, and our wind gusts. Even though you think, gusty wind's not a big deal, but when you have those straight line damaging wind gusts, will have that potential of causing some issues, especially when you start talking about those winds upwards of about 60 miles per hour. So for that reason, the News 6 weather team is indicating tomorrow a weather alert day. Again, that timing between lunchtime and 6 o'clock along that strong spring front. Then once that clears out, a fantastic looking forecast for Thursday and Friday. We're going to keep on with a really nice 70 plus degree weather into your weekend. Our average high for this time of the year, by the way, Bridget, is about 81. So we're going to be well above that for today and then well below that for the end of the week. We just have to get through some pretty dicey weather as we head into your Wednesday.
Yeah, all right. Yikes. That is a big
Yeah.
change there to pay attention to.
Yeah, a lot to unpack for this week, but at least we'll be ending the weekend into the weekend pretty nice.
Yes. And, we still have a lot of spring breakers out and about coming in and out of town. So, that'll be one day to sort of plan maybe for some indoor things when
Oh
that
yeah,
weather
especially
comes in.
and also for all the kids heading back to work to
Hmm.
school, just
Yeah.
make sure that the dismissal time might be delayed a little bit depending on where you live and the timing of dismissal.
Yes, ma'am. All right.
Hmm.
Thank you, Candace.
You're welcome.
All right. We'll see you soon. Okay, we want to check in. Trooper Steve is going on patrol a little early this morning, heading out in just a couple minutes. Good morning, Steve.
A couple minutes. I'm already on
Oh,
scene
you
out
are.
here. I am gone like the wind. Uh,
I
I am
wish you
moving
could flip the
so quick
camera
this morning.
around.
I could show you a little
Okay.
bit. We've got the crossing guard out here over at
Nice.
Maitland and in the Maitland city limits off of Horatio and Seneca Trail, I think. We are
Seneca,
featuring
maybe?
an amazing
Mhm.
Seneca. Yeah, okay, I'll take that. Um, we are featuring an amazing crossing guard. You know, they have a lot of different things going on all the time. Their responsibilities are huge, but even when they're not doing something, the crossing guard out here is all about communication and education. So he's got signs that say certain things to get people's attention. And so at 7:45, we're going to go over at clickorlando.com. So when you're done with breakfast and you're done with Bridgett, hop on over to the other side and you can watch this stream today. So I'm really excited, Bridgett. It's going to be a good time. And then, yeah, anytime our crossing guards, I get to hang out with him, and he's got a reflective vest. I'm here for it. So, yeah, that's what I've got going on today.
I have another crossing guard who is a big fan of yours too. So maybe for your next crossing guard trip, we'll link you guys up too.
I'm down with that.
Mm-hmm.
100% down
Mm-hmm.
with that. What
Mm-hmm.
I'm definitely down with this morning is traffic. So DOT cam right now showing a pretty interesting mess out there. And from what I'm also being told, we also have something else outside of this. That's eastbound at Osceola Parkway. I mean, excuse me, at 535 that crash there. So some heavy delays. Your drive times are kind of heavy this morning. 33 minutes Kissimmee to downtown, and then 417 in the Turnpike clear. But here is the problem right now. This is going to be I-4 at Osceola Parkway headed eastbound. All lanes are currently shut down at this moment as a vehicle fire. You can see the smoke coming from that semi truck as fire crews try to get out there. We have not been able to release traffic out in this area on a Tuesday morning. So not the best. If you're headed out towards the airport this morning, not horrible. Things moving good. And then the Lake Nona area currently up to speed in the Narcoossee and St. Cloud district out on the east side. But I'll go back real quick to that dot cam. If you're getting ready to hit the road, you see some drivers moving towards that Osceola Parkway exit this morning. That's probably the biggest recommendation I can give. Bypass this. I can't give you a good estimate of when this was open just because it does seem like smoke is still coming out of there, and fire department will not allow FHP to open the road until that is completely out. So, Bridgett, they want to make sure that
Mm-hmm.
they've got the News 6 app. So when that roadway does become back open, our awesome web team will put out a push and let all those drivers know what's going on. I'm moving a mile a minute as I'm talking here, so I'm going to leave you and hit the road here with the crossing guard.
Very cool. All right. Thank you, Steve. We'll see you soon.
See ya.
All right. We want to get to a bit of news here this morning, some big news across the state, and then we'll get over to our National Donate Life Month interview. But first, the abortion amendments. The Florida Supreme Court has issued two big rulings when it comes to abortions in Florida. They cleared the way for a strict new 6-week abortion ban to take effect in just weeks, but they also opened the door for voters to change everything at the ballot box in November. Here is Ezzy Castro with reaction from both sides.
Restrictions on abortion in Florida just got stricter. Yesterday, the state Supreme Court upheld Florida's 15-week abortion ban, clearing the way for the 6-week abortion ban Governor Ron DeSantis signed into law last year. That will go into effect starting May 1st.
It puts a woman's health at extreme risk, all in pursuit of a radical, dehumanizing agenda that allows babies to be aborted on demand and at any time.
Though another abortion ruling could have a major impact on the November election. The Supreme Court also cleared the way for voters to decide whether abortion rights should be guaranteed in the Constitution. The decision led to strong reaction from conservatives, including House Speaker Paul Renner.
It is extreme in its scope. It is the product of really abortion rights activists who have crafted this and go well beyond where most Floridians will find themselves, including Floridians who would consider themselves pro-choice.
News 6 political analyst Jim Clark explained the court's ruling was surprising.
I think a lot of people thought the Supreme Court, being as conservative as it was, would look for a way to kick it off the ballot.
Latest now on Commissioner Regina Hill here in the city of Orlando. She has officially been suspended by the governor, who was the only one who had the power to do that, but it comes just days after she was indicted, as we've been following this story, on 7 felony charges. She's accused of taking more than $100,000 from an elderly woman and using the money on her own personal things, such as cosmetic, surgeries, and buying a home. She released a statement saying she's looking forward to having her day in court and proving her innocence. A meeting has been set for next week to formally set a date for a special election to fill that seat that Commissioner Hill had in District 5 while she is suspended by the governor. Now we want to get to some very special guests with us bright and early this morning. It is National Donate Life Month. This is a month for building more awareness around organ and tissue donation. And this morning we have with us once again from our Legacy, Florida, Kia Blair, as well as Angela Browning, who is a kidney and liver recipient. Good morning, ladies. Thanks for being with us.
Good morning.
It's so great to see you. And, you know, Kia, you and I have been talking about ways to raise awareness about organ donation. And I'm so thankful you were able to get Angela to join you this morning. And Angela, can you tell us a little about your story, like what happened to you and how the miracles of life came about to, you know, help you in your times of need?
In February 22, my husband and I had retired, and we sold our place at the beach, and our plans were to travel out west extensively, go to the different parks and that kind of thing. And then in February, I got sick, and as you can see, that's my picture that just came up. I lost a lot of weight, got sick, had my transplant in August, and I was given a 4% chance to survive. If I didn't get a transplant. I was that sick, and as you can see, I wasted away to 77 pounds. Certainly, if it weren't for the transplant and people who donate organs, then I would not be sitting here with you this morning. So I want to say
dialysis?
Thank you.
Were you on dialysis at the time?
I did have to go through dialysis as well for a short period of time. Unfortunately, then I was able to get my transplants, both a liver and a kidney, and then didn't require dialysis after that. So very fortunate in that regard.
So was it all at one time then that you needed both? Was it, did the doctors figure out what culminated into that, such an urgent need so fast?
Yeah, the liver completely, that went first. And so that completely taxed my kidneys, because without the filtering process of the liver, then the kidney has to kick in. And it was just too much for the liver to be able, or the kidney to be able to sustain that level of filtration in my body. So therefore, I ended up needing both the liver and the kidney in the end. So.
And so how long did doctors tell you you would have to wait compared to what happened when you got your match?
Well, in my case, I was very, very sick, as you can see by the picture. My MELD score was at 46. That typically tops at 40. So that tells you the degree of illness that I was, for lack of a better word, the degree of illness that I was experiencing. And so things were pretty bleak there for a while. But fortunately, I was able to get the transplant. And so I'm alive and well and able to enjoy the things that I used to enjoy before I got sick. So it's been a blessing. I've learned a lot through this process. And as a result of that, I do a lot of volunteering just to try to give back, to say thank you, and also raise awareness, because, you know, I never in a million years thought I would be in a position where I would need an organ transplant. And there I was. So it completely turned our world upside down, and certainly raised my own awareness of the importance of organ donation. And that's why I've gotten involved. I volunteer with our Legacy, and I also volunteer at the hospital where I had my transplants.
That's amazing. I'm so happy to see your smiling face, and you do look so healthy now. And that was a quick turnaround in terms of just, you look so much healthier now. It's almost like instantly that life comes right back into you after you get those transplants.
For sure. Yes, absolutely.
What was it like when you got the call?
It was surreal, really. It's you know, you waited this long and you were so sick, and it's like, okay, how much longer can I hold on? And then we got the call, and it was life-changing. It was life-changing for sure.
And did you, what hospital did you go to, and like how, you know, what was that recovery like?
It was Advent Health in Orlando on Rollins. And it took me a while. I had to learn basically how to walk again and
Mm.
all those things because I was so weak and all my
Mm-hmm.
muscles had been pretty much eaten up by the disease.
Mm-hmm.
So I had to learn to walk again. It was difficult, but I had a great support system through my family and friends, and certainly getting involved at Advent Health has been a true blessing in my life as well because I get to interact with the doctors who saved my life and also talk to
Mm-hmm.
other patients going through a transplant process to try to help them to say, look, there is a better tomorrow. You will feel
Yes.
better, I promise.
I find that many times with these stories, there's sometimes are, you know, small degrees of separation. Did you learn much about, who your organs came from or any connections?
Yeah, it's they don't share that information. It's a completely confidential process. They do give you the option to reach out to your donor, or your donor family to say thank you. So I did that, but we're not privy to who my donor was. But
Mm-hmm.
whoever they are, if you're watching, thank you, thank you, thank you.
And that's what's so amazing because when you talk about organ donation, sometimes people think it has to be someone who was possibly deceased or, there was something tragic involved. But many times, especially with certain types of organs and tissue donations, and Kia, I'll bring you in on this, you can be a living donor and save someone like Angela.
Absolutely. We have so many volunteers, and thank you, Angela, for always volunteering with us and coming here to sing donation praises. We have so many volunteers who work with us, and so many of them maybe donated a kidney to their loved one, or they participated in that kidney exchange where they weren't a match necessarily for their loved one, but they said, "I will donate my kidney if someone else matches, my loved one." And I'm sure you've heard of that kidney exchange there. But yeah, I mean, and you've done stories
Oh,
with
yeah.
the young gentleman who's tried to donate as much as he can to help people.
Yes.
It's miraculous to see the giving hearts of so many people who want to help people, just like Angela.
And that's why this month is so important because this helps build awareness, especially around the organ and tissue donations you can give as a living donor because you can be like Dr. Nabanapudi, who's there at Advent Health talking about this. You can give and then you can be right back at it with your routine. It doesn't take that long to it's not like you have to take a big chunk of time off to do something like this if it's something you want to do to help someone. And like you said, you can create that
Right.
chain of, okay, maybe I wasn't a match, but then so many degrees of separation, I match with someone else, and then that person matches with someone else, and then you have this chain that can sometimes develop of people matching.
Absolutely, yeah. I know a couple, the wife donated her kidney to someone else so her husband could receive a kidney. We've heard of people who maybe donate a small portion of their liver to save someone that they may match. And that's an entire, process that you have to go through. And of course, a lot of screening, interviews, things of that nature. But it's certainly worth it. If it can be something that saves someone's life, whether that be your family or someone else's life, it is certainly worth it.
It really is. And I want to talk about some of the myths because we know there are many misconceptions around organ donation. What are some of the biggest myths? What ranks the highest up there when you have to tell people like, well, no, actually it's this.
I know. The biggest myth is if I register at the DMV or online to be an organ donor, if I'm involved in a car crash, that the doctors won't do everything they can to save my life. And that is simply not true.
Mm-hmm.
The medical professionals work very hard to save your life first before organ donation even comes into play. And as a matter of fact, those same doctors that are working in the trauma bays trying to save your life are not the same doctors who are involved with organ donation. Two
Mm-hmm.
totally separate, different teams. So you never have to worry about some doctor or nurse, looking through your bag. Let me see if they're registered to see, if we need to stop compressions. It just does not work that way.
Mm-hmm.
And on top of that, if they let you die immediately, your organs die right then as
Mm-hmm.
well. So those doctors are working very hard to save your life first. And after every attempt, and you were maybe declared brain dead or terminally ill, where your family decides to withdraw life support, that is when donation is considered, but never beforehand.
And I want to draw attention to this too, whereas a very small sliver of people actually end up being able to give who wanted to give life in the event of their death, because just a small amount are viable because of maybe the circumstances like a crash or something like that, where there was too much trauma for those organs to be viable. Isn't it like
Absolutely.
1%?
1% of us, and that's why the need is so great, because a small number of people can donate. But never rule yourself out. Never think, oh well, I have diabetes, I can't be an organ donor. That's
Mm-hmm.
not true. You can still be an organ donor. Or if someone says, oh, I have HIV, I can't be an organ donor. Well, that's not true. You can still donate to an HIV positive recipient.
Yeah.
So never rule yourself out
And
and
age
think,
as
oh,
well,
I
right?
can't be it.
Age as well.
Age as well. We have so many older donor heroes that help other recipients who may be around their same age, or maybe a little younger, or maybe even a little older. So never look at yourself and say, oh, they wouldn't want any of my organs. That's not true. You might be healthy enough just to save one person's life, and that one person's life is certainly worth it.
What about some of the complications when it comes to maybe you wanted to give, but maybe you didn't let your family or friends or power of attorney know that you wanted to give?
Yes, and that I'm so happy you brought that up. That is a big key component of, especially the month of April, National Donate Life Month, where we're all talking about it. But it's something important to think about any time of the year. When you register to be an organ donor at the DMV or online, or if you simply want your family to authorize or say yes to donation, have a quick conversation with them and say, hey, listen, I registered to be an organ donor today. If something were ever to happen to me, please, allow this to proceed. Just so they know, take that one burden or take that one issue off of your family's shoulders that they have to deal with. They have enough to deal with losing you. They certainly don't need to think, well, did they ever want to be a donor? I don't know. Did they ever talk to you about donation? Well, I don't know. You can have that quick little conversation, and it doesn't have to be something long and drawn out. You can just say, hey, if something were to ever happen to me, please allow me to be an organ donor. In fact, we have so many recipients. Another young lady, Charlotte Simmons, she's a 2-time kidney recipient. Her first kidney donor hero was from a 17-year-old girl in South Carolina. She just registered to get her driver's license and registered to be an organ donor. She went home that same day and said, Mom, I want to be an organ donor if something were to ever happen to me. Remember, she's 17. Most 17-year-olds don't think that they're, going to die or anything anytime soon. 2 weeks after she had that conversation with her mom, unfortunately, she was killed in a car crash. But she saved Charlotte's life because she told her mom, I want to be an organ donor.
That gave me chills. I think when we look at the gift of life, it is nothing short of a miracle that these matches are made. Even though we say, I want to be an organ donor, so many things have to line up that it is still nothing short of a miracle when you get a match.
Absolutely. Blood type, the size of the organs, the size of the recipient versus the donor. All of these things are matched. And that's what our legacy does as we work with our hospital partners. We work with every single hospital in Central Florida and East Central Florida, as well as all the way up to, Palm Coast Parkway, as far down to Lake Okeechobee. We work with our hospital partners after everything has been done to save your life, to assess our donor heroes, to see if they have compatibility, to see if they're medically suitable to be an organ donor, to see if they can save at least one person's life. But you're right, there are so many factors involved. And that's another reason why it doesn't happen so fast. That's another reason why it may take a day or two from the time that someone is admitted into the hospital, from the time that they're in the ICU, they're on a ventilator. It takes time to see if they can be a donor. And then if they can, it takes time to find those recipients like Angela. It doesn't happen just like that. Mm-hmm. So, that's one of the biggest myths that we always try to dispel, and the education we try to provide. It takes a little time to make sure that that match is just right.
But a little does go a long way. You talk about some of the statistics with how far just one organ can go, or a tissue donor's donation can go. It goes very far.
One organ donor can save 8 lives. One tissue donor can provide up to 75 tissue enhancements. I mean, can you imagine that? We're talking skin, bone, tendons. Someone who, if you're an athlete and you ruptured your Achilles, you could receive a donor tissue to repair that. So, and one cornea donor can provide sight to up to 2 people.
Wow.
So, never count yourself out. Never think, oh, I can never help anyone. You absolutely can.
And there's so many things you can do. And again, be a living donor right now.
Yes, you can be a living donor now, or you can also, if something were to happen to you, share with your family that you want to be an organ donor in after you pass away. And one more thing, if it's okay if we talk about it, we have a big race coming up this Saturday called the Great to Donate Race, and Angela is part of our program. She's our program director for the race. You can still register to participate in that walk and run. You can register at our offices at 601 South Lake Destiny Road. You can also register on Saturday at Lyman High School right before the race begins as well. It's a great opportunity to, raise awareness, join the fun, but then also get some good exercise.
Well, ladies, this is great information. Looking forward to that event this weekend. Also, go to donatelifeflorida.org for more information. Kia and Angela, thank you for being with us this morning to talk about National Donate Life Month. Have a great day.
Thanks, you, Bridgett. We appreciate you.
Take care. Thanks for being with us. Bye. Well, that will do it for us this morning. We will be back bright and early at 7:30. I'm going to hand it over to Jonathan Kekas with WeatherWise up next. Make it a great day. I'll see you on WKMG News 6 at noon.